It's time for Transport Line, the program that showcases the contributions of all modes of transportation to the socio-economic growth and development of our country, Africa, and the rest of the world. Transport Line is being beamed to you from the Center of Excellence, the state of aquatic splendor, and Africa's fifth largest economy, Lagos. I am Shina Elegbede. Glad to know that you are keeping us company. Transport Line would like to commiserate with the families of those who lost their lives in the recent tanker explosion in Niger State. You might say it's too early in the first quarter of the year for we to be sympathizing with fellow Nigerians because of avoidable deaths, avoidable tragedy on our roads. Many factors have been identified as being responsible for this latest explosion. And I tell you, we need to do things the way they are supposed to be done so that we get it right. Rocking the chair all the time without no movement should be a thing of the past. So, on set today, I have with me a public analyst, Segun Sumonu Adams, aka Asiwaju, who more or less is going to join me in looking at the matters arising from this tanker explosion. We haven't tanker explosions in Nigerian roads one too many. And I think it's high time we really move beyond sending condolence messages. Segun will be here, in fact, he's here with me to really assist in looking at what should be done so that we quickly address this issue. So this coming year, we have less, if not little, of these tanker explosion on our roads. Segun Sumonu Adams, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here.
Yes, Segun, the last time we have a major tanker explosion in Nigeria, you will recall, occurred in Jigawa State, where over 120 lives were lost. The present one, which happened about 2 weeks ago in Niger State, we're counting about 80 something, and we are still counting. Why do we keep on having this?
Such a pathetic thing. For me, I'll start my conversation, this discussion on a very, very sober mood because issues we are discussing today is avoidable. But unfortunately, we are deliberating on matters where thousands, hundreds now, of human beings that have relatives, fathers, mothers, children, indeed, that have future. Unfortunately, their lives have been lost because reasons where we could have avoided it. And these are people that have future. These are people that have it tomorrow after the day of that event. But unfortunately, event cut it off. Human beings have now been turned into numbers and numerics, where we now count bodies of human beings in numbers as if we are counting chicken, or as if we are even evaluating mathematics. Unfortunately, that's today's event of somebody, just a driver, assigned to just move a vehicle with goods, now inflammable item, from one destination to the other, now causing the death of over 85 persons already buried. We have 55 persons said to be injured and in the hospital. And I can tell you of these 55, when we mention by description, we say injuries. Injuries differ in terms of severity. These are related matters from burns, and we know what burns could be. It's not that a knife or something shook somebody on the body. You are talking about inflame from fire, and that's very severe. Not talking any other doomsday. I know some other persons will have gone beyond. So it's just it's for me it's a something of a sober note. So I'm pained and I'm grieved in my heart because these persons are human just like me and you, and like every other one of us. We don't put values around lives any longer. If not, this is a major disaster that needs indeed to be nipped in the bud. And that's why it's not looking at figures alone for me that makes the matter to be something of relevance, but looking at why on earth should this continue to be a recurrence in our social life, in our transport system. How can we continue to have this? We have gone through, if you go through our history, go through the events over the years of a similar event where tankers, vehicles hoarding and moving inflammable items anyway on the road, and a similar thing from accidents is resulting into the death of human beings. We have countless of numbers. If you look at the statistics in 2024, beyond the immediate one we can even talk about, Nigeria will have lost over 5,000 persons in 2024 for similar incidents. And today we are still talking about it. My pain is, how can we forestall this? And most importantly, my pain and my heart goes to those humans like me that have gone as a result of this very unfortunate incident.
Segun, the issues at stake has to do with, when you look at the preliminary investigation in terms of the alleged bad roads, the recklessness of the driver, the state of the tanker itself, and not to talk of the prevailing poverty that's ravaging the land, which really led to people risking their lives to indirectly go out and commit suicide to scoop petrol. Not only that, they want to transload inflammable product without necessary precautionary measures. What does it speak of safety measures in the Nigerian environment?
You see, this issue looms large of our societal ills in terms of ensuring that what needs to be done is actually done. It's not just enough coming to public space and be giving details and doing all of that. But if you don't go to the back end to do what needs to be done, you will have seen to have done nothing. And unfortunately, those are the repercussions of people placed at the duty point of ensuring some things are done, and yet we are seeing failures. Obviously, at this point, somebody should be held responsible, beyond the driver anyway, and that was the primary culprit. Some other safety standards. This is society. Nigeria is not a banana environment, so to say. Sorry for that word. Nigeria is a country where we have systems, I believe. We have organizations in place. We have, and in this case, safety and regulatory agencies. The question will have been, what will have been their role to have nipped all of this in the bud? Because it's not just today, it has been happening. Before now, which is the latest incident we are looking at, what has NEMA done? What has the Nigeria state regulatory agencies? Every state has a regulatory agency, I know. I know LASEPA in Lagos, I know GEPA in Ogun State, and so across the other states in Nigeria. These are part of their primary responsibility. It's not just enough for NEMA to come in and be savaging, doing like a fire brigade. Savaging just dead bodies and savaging destroyed properties after the deed is done. What have we done? Who is in charge? And I can come down to the nitty. Let's go back to this particular incident, which is the fire. There is a loading point. That is the takeoff of these tankers. The placement point is that these tankers moving this there is a couch around these goods. It's not a toilet roll. It's not a slipper you wear. It's an object that is liquid form and is highly inflammable. What does that mean? A lot of things will have been placed around it in terms of strong checks with strong punitive instances, occurrence around it. What I mean by this, if anybody has, have gone contrary within the process at that takeoff, let that person step aside, because you don't want to risk what could have been the aftermath, which is all we are talking about. What's the state of that tanker in the first instance? What's the psychological state of the driver taking the fuel? What's the time the driver, what time is he moving from the loading point, and when is he moving on the road? What other precautions are put in place for him, even within the transit point, from the takeoff to the delivery point? What checks is on him? What's the value that the driver himself has on what is driving? Because some drivers, I've seen them on the road. I've had instances, so some extent, those drivers behave as if they are driving the normal vehicle, because you see them overtaking, you see them driving the James Bond kind of driving, even though they are driving a delicate commodity. Those are the things that should be put in check and ensure that whoever goes out of all of these precautions and prescriptions will be sanctioned, strongly sanctioned. If it needs to even sanction the company behind it, do as much. The essence is to ensure safety. That's just the objective. It's not witch hunting. And that's what we see on our roads every day.
Yes, thank you. That is what we see on our roads every day. And it's because we have good laws in the statute book, but unfortunately, they are not being enforced. It's all encompassing. It's not only on transportation, every facet of our life. That is what is going on in Nigeria today. And until we have people who are not ready to compromise, we keep on dancing the locomotion dance without movement. Yes, you've spoken about the driver seat of the vehicle, but again, you look at from what we had in the media and read and saw in the media. The road, not worse, is still bad presently as we are talking. Also, there are road safety agencies there, traffic managers. And when the incident occurred, what did they do? It shows a lot about what we have in terms of emergency safety management in our country. Yes, we continue to use Lagos as a template, but I think everybody should wake up, because you don't know when next disaster is going to strike. And when disaster strikes, to God, you can't move what you have in Lagos to Niger State. Look at the distance, what have you. Again, you mentioned it. NEMA is there. So, those in charge of road reconstruction and rehabilitation at the federal level, you prioritize. Not the question of you do this too in this senatorial district, what have you. Look at, examine the traffic, the importance of certain road to the socio-economic life of the people, and do something urgent about it. This incident, I saw the Niger State governor on television lamenting that wasn't the first occurrence. Even before the tanker explosion, there have been many accidents on that particular route. What should be done? And like I said, this issue of razzmatazz, people issuing condolence messages, should stop. We need action. In fact, you don't have to wait for Mr. President or Mr. Governor to give his directive. Because, like you said, there are certain officers that have been charged with certain responsibilities. So you don't wait, you act. But this is Nigeria for us. So, yes, you mentioned point of loading, orientation, state of mind, psychological state of mind of the drivers. What do we do? Because I know a big company, if you meet their articulated vehicles on the road, my brother, you better keep your distance. No matter day of whether it's daytime, nighttime, or evening time. If it is nighttime, please don't move near them. They are ready to sweep you off the road and move on. And that is the thing. Today, I think the ministries, yes, of works, environment, transportation should have an emergency committee to look into this issue and make necessary recommendation for government to act. Whether we are going to have a new law they will send to the National Assembly, or Mr. President to give a directive so that we won't have this type of occurrences. Segun is not limited to tanker drivers. I look at Western Avenue, Lagos. I'm coming back home now.
Yeah.
Oju Elegba.
Yeah.
Containers keep on falling from there. Up to now, the barriers have, as we are recording, the barriers have not been erected.
Danger zone.
Up to now, the downfall drivers are still picking and discharging passengers at the tail end of that bridge. And when disaster strikes now, it's condolence messages and what have you. Why are we being docile in taking action that will move the society forward? Segun?
It's also, it all speaks, come back again to the unfortunate thing that we always call the Nigerian factor. Very, very unfortunate. Nigeria has become a pseudonym again, ironically, that is used for what does not work. Unfortunately. That is why, if you look at the definition again, we say Nigerian factor. What is the Nigerian factor? What that means is that the factor that does not work, whereas there is the one that can work, but we deviate and do the one that will not work. That's the Nigerian factor. A lot of things goes into it. Human, majorly at the takeoff point. Dereliction of duty, looking away. I mean, people that are not fit in terms of occupying positions, that are as sensitive, that are as responsible, and that permits our environment. And that comes across every other thing that we see that has fallen off tracking. So across board. And that's what same we are seeing around. And we can make references to a lot, but coming down to where we are, around transportation, around those consequences that has come to take life, and come to take destruction, and come to destroy a lot of patterns. For God's sake, Oju Elegba you just mentioned. I know it's been in the news over time that after a tanker anyway, with a container laden trailer anyway, fell off and hanged on a vehicle. Then the state government said they will put a barrier. Possibly the barrier
As we are
is a good way of stopping. But
the
I know,
barrier is here to be
just from
erected.
what you are confirming, I know as of today, this new year, the barrier is yet to be erected. At least that in itself is a way to curb the trailers and the long and articulated vehicles from plying the bridge. But when indeed those who is in charge, like we have just pointed, I mean, something for whatever reason, everybody will come on board and be giving reasons anyway. But those reasons, unfortunately, will have caused a lot of damage. So somebody should be held responsible. Somebody should just be held responsible. Same thing around board. You are saying vehicles stop even at the tip of the bridge loading passengers. What is this cause? Everybody will know and will come to say, oh, those yellow buses are stubborn, they are this, but make a deterrent out of some of them. Strong deterrent. You see some of them beating red lights. Whenever there is a stop
Not
for
some of them, all of them.
Most, yeah, I see them.
It's the practice in Lagos
But it's
State.
a practice around the state. Lagos,
In Lagos
as it
State,
was,
they
basically.
don't observe
So,
traffic signs.
And you see traffic officers stationed and
Yellow
standing
buses.
even behind the lights. And one funny thing is this: look at those who beat those lights. Just an example as well we are making. It's those yellow buses. You wouldn't dare see a private vehicle do it. But the day a private vehicle will possibly cut up, it's not beating the light, but it's cut off on the red light. You see those officers running to him to want to apprehend.
If they don't run to you, you get an alert that you violated.
So I now begin
sign.
to look at it from just this same basis of what we are looking at. As there are some exemptions to all of these prescriptions to conformity. And same thing we are seeing around tanker drivers. Are they bigger than the laws? You see around drivers of articulated vehicles, some don't have brakes. I've had experience driving on Lagos-Ibadan Express one night. There was traffic, and one of these, a 33,000 litered, fully filled tanker was with us in that traffic. We were here for like 20 minutes, no movement. I was driving when the car, everyone had to come down. What's the issue ahead? The driver came down. I heard him lamenting. He was saying, and this tanker, I'd been managing the brake. He said to me, it's not something I had. He said it because we all came down, in that situation, looking and assessing and looking at what's the cause of this traffic. The guy came down. He was lamenting. And he was saying it to me. He said, and I've been trying to manage, I want to manage this tanker. We are heading towards Shagamu from Lagos. He's in that same traffic. He said he wants to manage the brake, that the brake of that vehicle is faulty, that he wants to manage it and get to Shagamu. And I told him, how do you think you get to, this is around just after Aripo to Magboro. That's where the traffic held up, took all of us. And that is another distance of like over 20 kilometers to Shagamu. So this driver is ready to manage this truck, whereas he has inflammable items. He wants to manage the truck to Shagamu. Can you beat that?
Double jeopardy.
So if you have a mindset of a driver like that, obviously you will say he has beaten the prescribed regulations at the takeoff. But if a brake is failing, that's the evaluation on a driver. What value does it place on life? What value does it place on even what is taking? So if a driver can do like that, and I bet you, that same night, when we were released from that same traffic, that driver, because he was managing, he was moving slowly. For me, having heard that news, having heard that very strong
confession from him,
oh my God, I had to veer and put him at bay. It's strong distance.
Safe distance. Very, very safe.
Unfortunately, some don't know. One car, and what just happened? A vehicle was on siren. You know those who blare siren?
Yes,
it's like everybody leave road for me. So for him, the tanker driver was giving gap, ensuring that he's leaving enough gap so that he could be able to slam his brake. I had seen that, but the siren blaring guy, the big man on the road, anyway, so to say for them, was the little space the guy gave for his own safety to be able to stop. The guy ran there because he wants to scare everybody. The tanker ran and hit the vehicle. Thank God it's not a fast-moving one, but at least there was an accident for him. He brushed that vehicle. So how many of such will have happened that will have led to such occurrence that we are now today evaluating? Do we know if that vehicle has an efficient brake? Do we know if the guy, beyond every other, before what we heard from road safety, that he took a one way and they had to tell him if the story is true, but the fact is that from what we can gather, that was told to take another route. But in the process, what it means is that the guy would have gone against the normal traffic rule. So at that point, he would have been held and sanctioned.
Yeah. Segun, sanctions is a difficult thing to do in Nigeria because virtually all of us have compromised
strongly,
one way or the other. And at the tail end of that word compromise is because we want to make money. And when you make money, in which other guise or disguise, the society will eventually pay for it.
Sure.
And that is what we are facing today.
Unfortunately.
We've done the analysis right from the depot, right from point of takeoff, right from the point of people not taking care of the road as at when due. Here we are today. Well, I've been told our time is up. Segun, I want to thank you for finding time to come on this program. We hope that we put an end to all these razzmatazz or condolence messages, mourning and what have you. Let's have action.
Sure.
And those who refuse to obey the law, let the law take its course,
Sure.
and let it be publicized so that we serve as a deterrent to others,
Sure.
so that we have a more sane society to live in. Segun Sumanu Adams, aka Ashwaju, I want to thank you very much for finding time to come.
Thank
to
you
come.
so much.
You are one of those that when you see something, you say something for the betterment of the society. Like we used to say, we are not fault finders, but we need to make sure that we have a better society environment for us to operate.
That's it.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's about what we have time for. But again, please continue to be compassionate with your fellow human beings. That way, we have a more sane society to live in. Till next time, bye bye for now.